So here it is, the 52-minute long episode of Demon Slayer that they kind of told us about last week that was happening, and oh my god, it finally came. So I'm going to treat this as if you, the viewer, has already seen it. Because Lord knows, there's no way I can go without spoilers on this one, because it was absolutely explosive, absolutely crazy, and very good episode. Demon Slayer always keeps bringing out these big explosive fights and battles and characters, and of course they got to give us the backstory on whether you're a Demon Slayer, human, demon, whatever the case may be, so you can kind of see where they're coming from, and it lived up to the hype that is Demon Slayer. So without further ado, full of spoilers, I can't believe what happened in this one. And you know what? The fact of the matter is, if you guys have been watching our analysis from the beginning, especially on episode 1, we were correct. We came back and said there was going to be something that happens to Nezuko, and bam, we were right. Because I pointed out how, like, wait a minute, why isn't it showing Nezuko in this scene? And then you pan straight to the bit, whatever that's in her mouth, that's on the grass. And boy, was I right. I can't believe what happened. This episode was nothing more than an emotional roller coaster. And if you watched it, it was in the feels. It was, you wanted to cry, you wanted to be excited, you want to be like, oh my God, what is happening? Because it did nothing but just bring you from one spectrum to the next in emotions. But first off, when Tanjiro did this right here, the pseudo thunder breathing, if you will. So of course he imitated Zenitsu because he was kind of remembering what Zenitsu told him about how thunder breathing kind of works. So then from that, he's like, oh, okay, I need to get there quick. Who's quick? Oh, Zenitsu. Oh, what did he tell me? Oh, okay. And then of course he's like concentrating to be explosive into his legs. And I love the fact that that has now been incorporated into his repertoire, that not only did he do it just one time, that he keeps doing it. It's like, okay. And he incorporates it into his attack move now. This move he's calling the dancing flash, because he just literally flashed up to this guy and then just chopped his head straight off. It's so good that the evolution of Tanjiro incorporating things around him, like he's not only just sitting back and looking at these Hashiras and be like, oh man, they're just so good, oh man, oh maybe one day I'll be a Hashira. No, he's looking at everyone and seeing what makes them strong and then incorporating that into his own repertoire. So of course Zenitsu, he's like, man, I need to catch up to someone. So he's fast, so I want to do it. And it's like he's gonna end up being a jack of all trades. Like his original fighting stance, I guess you could say, is the water breathing, but then now he's going to flame breathing because he needed something more destructive. And now he's incorporating the thunder breathing aspects into his fighting. So, I mean, it's crazy how he's evolving so quickly, and I love it. I love the fact we're seeing this from the ground up. How good Tanjiro is as a person is always nice, because you never know how you can influence someone. Thus the reason why the Miss Hashira was saying thank you to Tanjiro, and Tanjiro was just sitting there like, what did I do? The fact that Tanjiro literally was being nice to him, just reminding him that you as a Hashira, it's your job to help others, and you never know by helping someone if they're ever going to be able to come back and help you. Because we know that if the Hashira wasn't able to save the little boy, the boy would have died, and then the Hashira would have died because the boy ended up saving him down the road. So just, it's like a life lesson. Regardless of who you are, you never know how your interactions will be perceived or how you will affect others. So no matter what you say, what you do, you should always carry yourself in a better light, I guess is the best way I could say. So then that way you never know how your influence will be a better perspective on those around you. That maybe you could be that person that uplifts someone without even trying to do it. You don't even realize it. You know, life lesson. We'll take it under the chin, and hopefully you two can learn from it for the future. Now, two key things I do want to touch on. This part right here is one of the most pivotal moments that happened in this episode. And I was right there with Tanjiro when he had to decide whether or not, what is he going to do? Here he has Nezuko in his arms, and she's burning up because of the sun, yet the demon is still attacking people. And yet, if the demon is able to kill and digest or eat the people he's attacking, that would only make him stronger and allow him to get away or run away because the sun's coming up and such. So he'll be a nuisance and an issue down the road. Not to mention, the Love Hashira is in the middle of a battle. So the whole point is to kill this guy as quickly as possible to help her out. So he has two very hard decisions here. And I'll admit, I was along with them. I'm like, one, I knew that there was going to be something that happens. Like the way that it kept looking at Nezuko and then looking back at Tanjiro, you kind of knew Nezuko was going to do something to make the decision for him, because he was stun locked and I was stun locked too. I'm looking at this like, oh my God. There's not a clear-cut answer here. And I'll admit, I in the real life situation, whether it's my own family member, like, what would I do in that circumstance? And I can't give a real clear answer. I thought she was going to literally jump away from his arms into the sun. But the fact that she just kind of kicked him away is like, okay, all right, that's a better answer, because if she tried to move, he probably would have tried to grab her or something. Even though we know how this resolved and the answer that came from this, it was a very emotional moment. It was very, the most emotion in this whole episode. Thus, of course, coined by the fact that they have the music in the background while Tanjiro is literally torn apart. Like, look at his facial expression. He is absolutely torn on what to do. They were wrong to do this to us as the viewer. They were wrong to do it because, of course, we as the viewer are like, no, no, Nezuko, what are you doing? On top of the need that he needs to save people. In yet again, emotional moment when she just comes to him and starts talking, and it's like, what in the world are you doing here? You guys should see my reaction here, which will definitely be on my Patreon. When it showed Nezuko again, I was like, I can't believe it. Like, how? And of course, later then shows the woman who I completely forgot about, this woman that's studying Nezuko's blood and everything. I always forget about her and the cat, because when was the last time he actually had the cat and gave the blood up? Then she's like, hey, by the way, I have a theory that she'll be okay in the sun later. It's like, oh, thank you. Thanks for telling me that now. And yet and still, here's the next part. Muzan. We finally understand what he is striving for. When they showed Muzan as the little kid's body, and of course that he's undercover, I for sure thought he was mad that he just lost some of his upper rank demons. I'm like, oh great, he's mad again. But then they showed that he's happy that he found out what he was looking for. Before, I believe it was earlier this season, one of the first few episodes, when we found out that he was looking for this blue lily of some sort. And I was like, okay, he's looking for this flower. I don't know why he's looking for this flower. And then it took all this time for us to understand, this is what he's looking for. He's looking for a way, I guess, to kind of be back to being human, to be more powerful, to be out in the sun and such. And I find it hilarious that he ended up killing the one person he needed most in this aspect, the one person that's trying to keep him alive, and he ends up killing his doctor who he needed after the fact. And it's like, yeah, it goes to show, you idiot. So here it is, Muzan has a target on Nezuko's back, which is surprising that he was the one that turned Nezuko into a demon, and yet and still now he's like, okay, I gotta get her back. if I can just have her, I could be more powerful. So Tanjiro's been looking for Muzan and not knowing that Muzan's coming straight to him. So there's going to be, at some point or another, a most climactic battle, because not only do we have the rest of the upper ranks to deal with, we have Muzan himself to deal with. So even he's like, yep, I don't need to create any more demons. I know where I'm going. I know my target, and I'm coming straight to her. I can't wait to see the final battle, because I know it's going to be absolutely explosive between Muzan, Nezuko, Tanjiro, and probably every other demon slayer. Either way, like I said, these 52 minutes were amazing, absolutely crazy. One of the best in all of Demon Slayer, and I can't wait till the next season, which has been announced that the next season is gonna be the Hashira training arc, but supposedly that wasn't that many chapters in the manga, so a lot of people are speculating that even though this is gonna be another season, the fact there's only 8 chapters, that it's gonna be a short season, which is like, okay, I mean, I'll be honest, even if I get a short season I assume next year, that I'll be perfectly fine with it, because I know in the background they're going to be working on the last, I assume the last few seasons. There's got to be not that many seasons left in the show as it is, because one, there's not a whole lot of demons, upper rank demons to deal with, and Muzan himself is going to be appearing out of the blue soon. So it's going to be another great season of Demon Slayer, regardless of how long or short it's going to be. This, I mean, like, it's any other score I can give this. This is easily a 9 out of 10 as far as the rating for this season has been. I mean, it got into the action very early, very quickly. We were able to see a lot of different moves, Tanjiro's evolution, the different Hashiras coming up in here, and of course their backstory, what brings them here. If anything, the only thing that I would like more of is more information, of course, from Genya, like how does he have this ability, more information of the Love Hashira, how does she jump from pretty much having a pretty okay life, except for the heartbreak, if you will, until all of a sudden she's a demon slayer. We've gotten backstory from different characters, but we didn't really get a lot of it. And the only thing that really disappointed me in this episode was the fact that the Love Hashira, how she's fighting the demon, and then he's just, all of a sudden, as she's fighting him and she's, I guess, about to die, quote unquote, he just kind of disappears. How he was talking to Tanjiro previously, and how it's like, oh, Tanjiro's the one at fault here, and how he's, you know, oh, he hasn't done anything wrong. And I would have loved for him to say something. He just kind of was just silent, and all of a sudden just dead. How he kept observing the Love Hashira and how she's powering up and such. So he was all talkative, and we could hear his thoughts and stuff. And then all of a sudden, as he's turning to ash, nothing. I just felt that was like, oh, that's a little weird, but okay. You know, it is what it is, and maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit more here and there, but regardless, great anime overall. Great season. I feel this was actually a really good season, and I can't wait to see the next season. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How'd you guys like the season? Did you not like the season? Did you feel it was weaker or better than previous ones? And definitely let me know what you thought about the analysis for all of the episodes for this season. It was a great show. Can't wait to see it. Definitely cannot wait for more new episodes, which, like I said, it's been announced that more Demon Slayer is coming. No definitive date yet, but we will definitely be here to analyze it and several other anime on this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already, because your boy is definitely working on making this even bigger and better than it has been before. You guys take care of yourselves. Be safe, and Lord willing, I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page, and thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.